Alright, after a short break we're finally continuing the music theory series, and today we're talking about 7 chords. And now more than ever we're reaching that super awesome territory where music theory really starts to add to your sound and to your playing. Please note that we're building on the previous lessons, so if you haven't seen episode 1 to 5, maybe you can check them out. A 7th chord is basically a triad, so a major or a minor chord, but then with one added note. The 7th, counted from the root up, so in C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So where major and minor chords are built with 3 different notes, 7 chords are built with 4 different notes. The first half of this video is going to be pretty theoretical, but the second half is going to be much easier because I'm going to visualize everything on the guitar. But first I'm going to explain it and then I'm going to show you. So let's say we start on the triad from a C major chord, C, E, and G, the 1, the 3 and 5. The note we're adding is the 7th, that is the B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Now we've got the notes C, E, G and B. If you play those notes together, the chord we created is a C major 7 chord. And one thing that is very important reading those chords is that you know what you're reading. If you see a C major 7, it's not a C major with a 7, it's a C chord with a major 7. So if you see a C, you already know it's a major chord. Just a C chord is major. The major 7 is the note we're adding. So a C and a major 7. So the 7th note from the major scale in chord terms is called major 7. Why is that? Because the 7 in chord names is a flat 7 or a minor 7. So in this case a B flat. So if you want to make a C7 chord, we're adding the B flat to a chord instead of the B. That's a 7 chord. So that's the only thing that maybe doesn't make sense at first. The 7th note from the major scale, so the function 7, in chord names is called major 7. The flat 7, the interval minor 7, is called 7 in chord names. So if you see a chord C7, you know it implies a flat 7, a B flat. If you see a chord name C major 7, you know the 7 is the 7 from a major scale. So in this case a B. So now we learned 2 chords already, C major 7 and C7. 2 pretty similar chords, note-wise, only one different note, but they sound vastly different. Alright, we're gonna add 2 more. Let's start with the minor chord, C minor. Now we're adding, let's say, a 7 to the chord, C minor 7. So remember, the 7 is the flat 7. So we need to add a B flat to the chord, C, E flat, G, that's the minor chord. And we're adding a B flat, C minor 7. Cool. If we want to add a major 7, we can. Then we have a C minor, major 7. C minor, major 7. Pretty obnoxious sound, but it's pretty cool, so you should really know what it is. You probably won't see it that often in pop music, and jazz is pretty common, but it's cool to just know what it is. C minor, major 7, a C minor chord with an added major 7. So C, E flat, G with a B. C minor, major 7. Alright, so that's 4. We're gonna add 1 more. C minor 7, flat 5. And the name already tells you it's a C minor 7 chord, so C minor with a flat 7 with a flat 5. C minor 7, flat 5. So it's the same as a minor 7 chord, but now the flat 5 is lowered by 1 semitone. So if this went too fast for you, no problem, because right now it's gonna make sense for you, I'm sure. So let's go to the D chord. You should know in the D chord we're playing a 1, then a 5, then an octave, and then a third. The notes are D, A, D, F sharp. So now we're gonna have some fun. the D chord, we're gonna make a D major 7 out of it. So adding a major 7 to your chord, the easiest thing to look for is an octave in your chord, because the octave gets easily changed into a major 7. It's only one semitone down. So the octave is at the B string, fret 3. You can just ditch that note. We don't need it in our chord. We already got a D, so we don't need it. We're gonna change it to a 7, a major 7. So one semitone lower, so from fret 3 to fret 2. So it becomes 0, 2, 2, 2. D major 7. Congratulations, you just made your first major 7 chord. Alright, so the difference between a major 7 and a 7 chord is that a major 7 is one semitone higher than the minor 7 or flat 7. So if you want to make a D7 chord, we just add a C to the D chord, because the C is one whole tone beneath the octave and the 7 was a flat 7, remember? So we go from fret 3 to fret 1, 2 semitones lower than the D. I love it. So D, D major 7, D7. All three were major chords, but with different 7th notes. Alright, now let's go to the minor variations of those. So now we start on the D minor chord. Let's make a D minor 7. And remember again, the 7 means the flat 7, so 2 semitones below the octave. So we're gonna change from fret 3 to fret 1. So D minor, fret 3 goes to fret 1 on the 2nd string. I'm borrowing my first finger on the 1st and the 2nd string to make it easier. There it is, D minor 7. Sounds great. Now let's make it into a D minor major 7. The only thing different is the 7 becomes a major 7. So one semitone up from fret 1 to fret 2. D minor major 7. Lovely sound. A little bit spooky. And then the last one was a minor 7 flat 5. So let's play the minor 7. Now we need to lower the 5 by 1 semitone, which is pretty easy. Just lower it by 1 fret. So fret 2 on the 3rd string, which was the 5, goes to fret 1. So it's 0, 1, 1, 1. So if you just bar fret 1 from the 1st, the 2nd and the 3rd string, you got it. D minor 7 flat 5. You know, a fun thing to do. D minor 7 flat 5. These 3 notes, 1 semitone up. D major 7. Alright, 5/7 chords on one chord. It's not that difficult making your own chords if you know what you're doing. So on the D chord, it's pretty obvious. All the shapes are pretty easy to play. But that's not always the case. So that's why I advise you to learn some shapes you just know by hand, so you don't always have to think about it. So C major 7, bum, C7, C minor 7, C minor 7 flat 5, C minor major 7. So you just know these shapes, you don't have to think about them. And you can do the same on the 6th string chords. So let's go to G, G major 7, G7, G minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, G major minor 7. So you just know these shapes. Then it's very handy to just play them without thinking. So you can move them up all across the neck, of course. F major 7, F7, F minor 7, F minor 7 flat 5, F minor major 7, etc, etc. Play them everywhere on the neck. So if you want to really learn these shapes and use them, I advise you to learn the song Autumn Leaves, which I did a video lesson about. Check it out over here. So if you learn that song, you really learn quite some shapes we discussed today, and they are very convenient, and the track sounds lovely. Alright, have a wonderful day. This was episode 6 of the Theory series. Stick along, and I love you all, music theory nerds. Good job for being here till the end. I appreciate it. Bye.